Hello everyone, my name is Tuli Sigalala and welcome to episode 3 of Good Vibes with Tuli. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm so excited to share today's journey and topic with you. It's a topic that is close to my heart, and I know I say this every week, but each topic that I discuss is really close to my heart. It's true. It's something that I've experienced firsthand, and today is no different. Today, I'd like to talk about leadership. I've always had the natural ability to lead now that I think of it. I've always wanted to inspire people. I've always used my voice to build a community. I've always had the influential ability to lead people into a common direction, a common goal, and a common vision. And 2007 was no different. In 2007, I was head girl of my school. I went to Macaulay House School for Girls in Parktown. I'm sure some of you guys may know it. It's next door, the German school, and it's also quite close to Mill Park Hospital. Something interesting to know is that my sister and I went to the same school, the only school, our entire lives. So we spent around about 12, 13 years of our lives going to Macaulay House every single day, every single year, all the way up until matric, as opposed to my brothers that went to different high schools. And I remember our uniform was different as a leader. I've got a picture here that I'd like to share with you just to show you what our uniform looked like. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but if you were a leader, you had to wear a white blazer. And our uniform, our standard uniform is blue. So most colors are blue. The blazer is blue, the tunic is blue. So you can imagine if you rock up, you're wearing a white blazer in a pool of blue, instantly you stand out. People know who you are, you're always under scrutiny, people can identify you, and there's always attention coming your way, whether you want it or not. And I think that being in a position of leadership, not just any kind of leader, but the head of the school, I had to make peace very quickly with being under scrutiny, with having attention on me all the time, whether I wanted it or not. But I also made peace with being different. You know, when you're a leader or when you make a decision or when you're in a position of decision making, you stand out. So it's something that I had to be very comfortable with. And I think over the years, it prepared me for some of the journeys, some of the seasons that I went through that, developed and built up my leadership skills. I also remember that as a leader, especially as head girl, I had to play mediator. So I was constantly the go-between the principal, the teachers, but also the students, so I had to make sure that I understand what the principal, her vision is for the school, her plan is for the year, and then try to communicate that to the school, and that was a bit difficult because we had, learners who were very vocal, some learners were very rebellious, some were not so convinced with what the principal was saying, and I had to take those complaints as harsh as they were, and I had to tell the principal exactly what the learners were saying, and then I had to go back and tell the learners that no, the principal says this. So I remember always having to play mediator, and on one side I'm very close to the principal, you can even call me the right woman of the principal, where you'd always be in meetings and you're part of the committee and you've got access and authority to all these documents, and you hear very sensitive information, but at the same time you must be on the ground level to the people that you're leading. What are the people going through? What do they want? What are they feeling? Do they have any ideas of where they see the school going? What projects do they want to see? What programs could improve the school? So I always remember having to sort of like build unity between the teachers and the schools, and sometimes it is actually quite opposing sides, and I had to sort of like bring unity between the two. I think that it's also important as a leader to be humble. So one side, you must stay connected to the people that you're leading. You must be able to be approachable to them, talk to them, find out who they are, what they're going through naturally, and stay authentic. But at the same time, the principal also expects decisions and she expects things to be done. So you must be assertive. You must be able to stand your ground, and people don't always like the decisions that you make. So I remember there were times where I was popular because of the position I was in, but there were times where my friends didn't like the position because they weren't so sure, okay, so truly, are you the friend now or are you the leader? And not just the leader, but the head of the school. You can imagine the amount of power, responsibility, scrutiny, pressure, that I was in every day to make sure that I make both sides, sometimes sides that clash a lot, make sure that everything gels in, everything goes in smoothly every single day, all the decisions are implemented and executed and all sides are happy. It was not a good time and it was not an easy time as well. I remember one time, having to challenge my principal. So my principal used to smoke, and it was very interesting because, I mean, every day we'd go to school and we'd be given lectures about how smoking is bad and that smoking causes cancer and we mustn't smoke. But there was one day when I just asked her outright, I mean, why do you smoke? Do you know what it looks like for you as the principal to say that we shouldn't smoke, but we see you every day smoking and you don't even hide it? So first of all, you're putting us in danger by blowing smoke in our face every day. But secondly, it's so hard for us to believe you because you're saying one thing, but then you're doing something else. And I think that was a very interesting and a very critical lesson about leadership, is that people don't follow what you say, people follow what you do. And you must always lead by example. So do it first, and then people will trust you and people will follow you. And I think when I, challenged the principal in that sense, for the first time, she could see that I could actually stand up for myself. I could make decisions that, weren't necessarily popular with her. And, she respected and she admired me for that, that I've got a leader, I've got a head girl who can make her own decisions, but who's not afraid to speak her mind and stand her ground. And I think from that point on, it cemented our relationship. It was a very honest relationship as well. It was based on trust. I could come and tell her exactly what I was thinking, and she'd respect me for that. Eventually, she did open up and she told me that, the reason why she smokes is because sometimes she's under pressure and she experiences stress. So smoking is a way of, calming her down when she has to make difficult decisions and she doesn't know what to do. So it's like, okay, I respect you, but it doesn't look okay, so this is just what people are saying, and I'm just telling you that, people don't really follow what you say, they follow what you do. And then also, when looking at this picture, I remember even now just looking at it, I was very sad. I'm looking at my eyes, I can see it in my eyes that I'm very sad. I'm looking at my shoulders. My self-esteem was quite low during this time. Yes, I was leader, yes, I was head girl, but I remember clearly thinking that, it was a mistake for me to be head girl. Why was I the one chosen? The girl who's standing next to me, she was actually one of the front runners of being head girl. Everyone thought she was going to be head girl. Heck, I'm sure she even thought that she was going to be head girl. I thought she was going to be head girl. And when they called out my name and they said that I was going to be head girl, I thought that it was a mistake. And I thought that I was not worthy for that position. And it took me a long time to accept that, people trust me and people think that I am capable of taking up this role and taking the school and leading people into a better vision and a better direction. And I think that it takes time. Sometimes when you are chosen for things in life, it doesn't always necessarily come close or easily, in terms of growing and developing into your path. And this was a time for me that developed that as well. I think that it was also quite difficult because as a leader, it was just not us. It was sort of like a team of us. So I had to make sure that I stand my ground, I understand who I am, but also making sure that, I get the support of my team. So again, it's not just being a leader like a prefect. You are the head of the school. You are the authority of all the systems and all the policies that are put in place, and you need to make a decision that affects everyone. I was always under a lot of pressure. I remember always thinking, oh my gosh, am I making the right decisions? What if people don't like me? What if, I lose my friends? And looking back, I think one thing that could have helped me a lot was having more support. I would have loved more support from home, more support systems in place from the school, because I was also going through my own things. It was my first time being in a position like this, and I still had to perform academically. I still had to be young. I still had to enjoy my life, and I still had to decide what do I want to do with my life as well. I'm not sure if you guys remember that last week the topic that I talked about was how I started. I shared my journey on how I became an SSL interpreter. And this was 2007. So the year when I went to WITS, 2008, this was what was happening the year before. So you can imagine having to enter a new world. When you go to WITS, when you go to university, you have to leave your high school years behind. So I had to leave, my high school years, but it was a very unique year of being a leader, but then also navigating this life of being, a student. And now you need to discover your purpose and a career and the pressure of having to deliver. So it's not enough that you hit girl, but now you need to build on that and just be excellent in everything that you do. So I think 2007 and 2008 were very difficult times in terms of identity and understanding who I was and being comfortable with my journey and my calling in life. I think it was a time of a lot of introspection, and I think that it was a time of me understanding that perhaps, I'm not called for small things. I'm not called for just being mediocre, that I was built to be and called to be a leader. I've got the potential, I've got the traits, I've got the characteristics, I've got the personality to use my voice and my influence to have a vision and to have a dream. And it's some of the things that I see happening right now, 2020, it's almost 13 years later, that, were always there all along, so perhaps they come in different seasons, they come in different shapes, and they come in different intensities, but the seeds of being a leader were always being there. The seeds of wanting to speak, the seeds of wanting to build people up and inspire people have always been there. And it's interesting because last week I was talking about how I started. I'm sure most of you guys know me as an SASL interpreter, but interpreting is what I do. It's not who I am, I just happen to be a very, very good interpreter, but I'm a leader, I'm a visionary. I'm a person who inspires people. I'm a person who, has the ability to influence communities. When I speak with authority. When I speak, things happen and people listen to me. So it just happens that I am also an interpreter that's good, so everything that I do, I'm very determined. I work hard. I want to be the best. And you can see these personality traits in everything that I do. But ultimately, I can decide and I can describe myself as being a leader. So my goodness, I can go on and on about leadership. I'm so passionate about leaders, and today's content as well is no different, and I'm so excited to share today's content. So today's content is a podcast, a popular podcast by that's called Untainted Creatives, and it's by a duo called Jack and Obi. And I've had the privilege to engage them, and they are amazing guys. I told them when I was talking to them that, may I please feature your content on my channel, because I think that's your conversations and your interviews about people and about small businesses, about what young people are doing in, ordinary communities, can inspire people out there to make informed decisions that could change their environments, that could also help improve their communities as well. And I was actually fortunate that they said yes. So in this particular content, in this particular podcast that I'll be featuring today, is by, Tswelo Kodisang, who is the CPO, the Chief People Officer of Discovery. And when I was listening to the conversation and when I did my research about him, he is an amazing leader. Oh my goodness. The principles and the tips and the values that he shares are things that are so true about leadership, because that's exactly what, I experienced. In particular, he talks about business, but, the principles cut through, whether it's business, whether it's family, whether it's community. If you work with people, if you serve people, that it's important to identify people who share the same values as you, so yes, they may be good at what they do, but if they don't have the same, vision as you, if they don't embrace your vision, you're going to have a problem. And I'm so excited to share today's topic with you, and I hope that you guys learn a thing or two as, Mr. Tswelo shares his pearls of wisdom about leadership. And I hope that you, if you find yourself in a leadership position and you are a leader, especially during these times that we find ourselves in, one thing I want to say to you is learn to lead yourself first before you think of leading a nation or a community. So leadership starts with your personal decision every day to get up and face the day and discovering who you are. And then naturally you lead people. Naturally your light shines. Naturally people are attracted to you. People trust you. People believe you. And that's what leadership is all about. So thank you so much for today. That's my, pearls of wisdom about leadership. I'm so excited to see how my topics can inspire and motivate you wherever you are. Please subscribe, please comment, please give us feedback on the topics, things that we could improve, things that you want to do or see that could help you, and we'll definitely make a note of it. And thank you so much to the team, and enjoy.
So I think with this question, we had to really crowdfund this question because I think I was chatting to one of a startup, and one of the questions that they asked was, how does one entice great staff to a startup and considering that they don't have a big paycheck, and how do they keep them? And yeah, how do they really keep great staff at a startup? Actually, yeah, in short.
Yeah. So I think the how do you attract great people to a startup goes back to the point I made about the why of your company.
Mm,
So you need to surround yourself with people that share the vision and share the purpose of what you're trying to do. Because you, like you rightly say, you won't be able to compete on paycheck. And actually, even with corporates, I think corporates or leaders or teams whose sole purpose is to engage people on the back of how much they pay people, it is not sustainable. So my sense would be engaging people and identifying people that share the vision and share the purpose and have an aligned set of values. When you've got that, the rest of it actually can be built up. Skills can be developed, or everybody can go and learn a set of skills. So that's not don't Marv, don't apportion too much value on let's say skills as long secondly experience comes with repetition of doing things,
mm,
so again that will come, but the piece that's very difficult to replicate and get right is mindset, alignment in values, alignment in vision, alignment in purpose. So I always start there whenever I engage with, for example, with when I recruit for my team. I always recruit and engage on the basis of this is what I am trying to achieve with my team. What this is what we're trying to do. Does it resonate? And then I listen and I look for, do you get that sparkle in the eyes when you talk about it? Do they get excited about wanting to be part of that journey or not? And then if all they drive, which I've had the experience of, somebody just engaging you and all they're talking about is how much are you going to be paying me, and even on when you talk to pay, it's unrealistic. It's not based on any fact. It's not based on any market reality. I shy away from it, and we've had that. So I would encourage guys that have got startups and running small medium enterprises to the biggest opportunity you have is to surround yourself with great people. That's what's going to make one of the biggest differences. So as such, take care in who you recruit, take care in why you recruit them, and you got to spend a lot of your time there, because when you get that right, it's amazing how quickly the rest of it falls into place.
mm,
And then when you get it wrong, it's amazing how it destroys your business, because now instead of focusing on driving business, you are focusing on dealing with difficult characters and trying to get those characters out of your business, and that's wasted time.
mm.
And in today's world, time actually is finite, and we mustn't waste time. So, getting the right people to be part of your team liberates time for you, which is why I'm saying you should spend a disproportionate amount of time choosing the right people, looking for the right things, and engaging those type of individuals. And I think these people are there.
Yeah.
Without fail, the people are there.
Mm.
It will take a bit of time, but they are definitely there. And lots of people are not just driven by I want lots of money. Lots of people are driven by I want to make a difference. I want to build a legacy. I want to be part of something special. And and if you deliver on those things, it's also amazing how when it comes then to issues of pay and the like, it becomes very reasonable, right? People then got to go, okay, you know what? I am building future value. I don't need immediate value. I'm okay to forgo certain things whilst we build something special. Because actually, when we arrive in having built this something special, the value that comes out of that, it's absolutely immense. It's 10, 15, 20 fold type value. So as such, people will say, "No, I get it. I'll bid my time. As long as I know we're on track to deliver what we said we wanted to deliver, I'll bid my time. I'm not gonna be crazy about how much I want you to pay me." My parting shot is yes, we may not be clear about what the future entails, but we can be clear about our own mindset towards that future. And in that mindset, what do we choose? What mindset do we choose to be, to have? And I'm choosing to be hopeful, to be optimistic, to be more caring, and to make a difference to my fellow human beings, because that's the only way I'm going to be safe, I'm going to be healthy, is when my fellow human beings are safe and healthy. Then we're going to be, stronger. So it's important that we keep that in mind and we work hard to actually deliver on that positive opportunities that will come out of this.